Hello, everyone. Welcome to English in Fluency. My name is Alex, and I'm so happy you've decided to join me today for this special podcast episode. Have you ever made a big plan for yourself? Maybe at the start of the year, you said, "This is the year I will finally get fit," or "This is the year I will become fluent in English." You felt excited. You felt motivated. You bought new running shoes, or you bought a new notebook for your English vocabulary. For the first few days, maybe even the first week, everything was perfect. You went for a run every morning. You studied English every evening. It felt great. But then, one morning, it was a little cold outside. You thought to yourself, "I'll just stay in bed for 5 more minutes." And that 5 minutes turned into skipping your run for the day. The next day, you felt tired after work. You thought, "I'll just watch one episode of my favorite show before I study." And that one episode turned into the whole evening. Before you knew it, your running shoes were gathering dust in the corner, and your new English notebook was still empty. Does this story sound familiar? I think for most of us, it does. We all know what we should do to achieve our goals. We know we need to exercise, eat healthy, study, or work on our projects. The problem isn't a lack of knowledge. The problem is a lack of action. There is a gap, a space between knowing what to do and actually doing it. Today, we are going to talk about the bridge that crosses that gap. That bridge has a name, and that name is discipline. And by the end of this podcast, I want you to see discipline not as a scary or difficult word, but as your own personal superpower that you can build, starting today, one tiny step at a time. This will be a great opportunity for you to practice your English listening skills. I will speak clearly, and I will use words and sentences that are easy for you to understand. So just relax, listen, and let's begin our journey together into the world of self-discipline. So, what is this magic word? Discipline. When many people hear the word discipline, they think of something hard, something unpleasant. They imagine a strict teacher or a military sergeant shouting at them. They think it means forcing yourself to do things you hate and never having any fun. But that's not what true discipline is about at all. I want you to forget that old idea. True discipline is not about punishment. It's not about being perfect. It is, very simply, a form of self-love. Yes, you heard that right. Discipline is loving your future self enough to do something a little difficult or boring today, so that your future self can have a better life. It's about choosing what you want most in the long run over what you want right now in this moment. Imagine you are sitting on your sofa. You have a choice. You can scroll through social media on your phone, which is easy and gives you a quick, small pleasure. Or you can spend 20 minutes practicing your English. That might feel a bit more difficult right now. It requires more effort. But which choice will your future self thank you for? In 1 month, or 6 months, or 1 year, which action will have made a real positive difference in your life? The scrolling or the studying? Discipline is the ability to make that second choice, again and again. It's not a feeling. This is a very important point. Many of us wait to feel motivated before we do something. We think, "I'll study English when I feel like it." But motivation is like the weather. Some days it is sunny, and you feel full of energy. Other days it is cloudy and rainy, and you just want to stay inside. You cannot depend on motivation to be there every day. It comes and goes. Discipline, on the other hand, is not a feeling. It's a system. It's a habit that you build. It's what you do even when you don't feel like it. Motivation is the spark that starts the fire. But discipline is the wood that you add every single day to keep the fire burning long after the initial spark is gone. Let me tell you a little story about two friends named Tom and Sarah. Both Tom and Sarah decided they wanted to learn how to play the piano. They were both very excited at the beginning. They both went out and bought a keyboard. Tom was a person who relied on motivation. On the first day, he was incredibly motivated. He practiced for 3 hours. He learned a whole song. He felt amazing. The next day, he still felt motivated, so he practiced for 2 hours. But on the third day, he felt a little tired. He told himself, "I'll practice tomorrow." The next week, he only felt motivated to practice once. A month later, his keyboard was mostly used as a place to put his coat. Now, let's look at Sarah. Sarah decided to use discipline. She made a very small, simple rule for herself. I will sit at the piano and practice for just 15 minutes every single day, right after I finish breakfast. Some days, she felt motivated, and she practiced for longer than 15 minutes because she was enjoying it. But on other days, she felt tired, or busy, or just didn't want to do it. On those days, she would tell herself, "It's only 15 minutes. I can do anything for 15 minutes." And so she did, day after day, week after week. It wasn't always exciting, it wasn't always fun, but she did it. Now, who do you think was a better piano player after 1 year? Of course, it was Sarah. Tom's few long, motivated practice sessions could not compete with Sarah's consistent, daily, disciplined effort. Sarah built a habit. Tom waited for a feeling. Discipline is like a muscle in your body. If you want a strong bicep, you can't go to the gym once and lift a very heavy weight for 5 hours and expect to be strong forever. It doesn't work. You have to go to the gym regularly and lift a manageable weight. Each time you do it, the muscle gets a tiny bit stronger. Building discipline is exactly the same. You don't start by trying to change your entire life in one day. You start with one small thing, one small promise to yourself, and you keep that promise. You start by lifting a small weight, and you do it consistently. This is the real secret. Discipline is not something you either have or you don't have. It is something you build. Now, if discipline is so wonderful, why is it so incredibly hard for us to practice it? It's a very good question. The answer lies deep inside our brains. Our brains have evolved over millions of years to help us survive. A long, long time ago, it was very important for humans to focus on immediate rewards. If our ancestors found a tree full of fruit, the best thing to do was to eat it right away. There was no benefit in waiting. Saving it for later was risky, because another animal might come and eat it. So, our brains developed a strong preference for instant gratification. That means we love things that give us pleasure right now. This part of our brain is still very powerful today. It's the part of your brain that wants to eat the sugary cake instead of the healthy salad. It's the part that wants to watch another video instead of going to bed. It wants the easy, quick pleasure. On the other hand, our goals, like learning English, getting in shape, or building a business, require delayed gratification. This means you have to do the work now, and the reward will only come much later. The logical, thinking part of our brain, the newer part, understands this. It knows that studying English today will lead to better job opportunities or the ability to travel in the future. but that future reward feels very far away. The pleasure of watching a funny video is right here, right now. So there is a constant battle happening inside our minds between what we want now and what we want most. This is the first reason why discipline is so hard. Our brains are naturally wired to prefer the easy, immediate reward. Another huge reason discipline is so difficult in the modern world is the problem of endless distractions. We live in an environment that is designed to destroy our focus. Your smartphone, for example, is a powerful tool, but it is also a powerful distraction machine. Every notification, every buzz, every red circle with a number inside it is carefully designed by very smart people to grab your attention. Social media, news websites, video streaming services, they all want one thing: your time and your focus. They make money when you keep scrolling, keep watching, and they are very, very good at it. So when you sit down to do something that requires deep focus, like studying grammar or writing an essay, you are not just fighting against your own lack of motivation. You are fighting against billion-dollar companies that have engineered their products to be as addictive as possible. It's like trying to eat a healthy meal in a room where every single surface is covered in your favorite candy, and people are constantly offering you more. It takes an enormous amount of willpower to resist. This is why just trying harder often isn't enough. We need better strategies. We need to understand that our environment plays a huge role in our ability to be disciplined. If your phone is sitting next to you while you study, you are making the battle 10 times harder for yourself. The distraction is too close, too easy to reach. We will talk more about how to change your environment later. But for now, it's important to recognize that distractions are a major enemy of discipline. A third reason we struggle with discipline is because our goals are often too big and our plans are too vague. Let's say your goal is to learn English. That's a wonderful goal, but it's also huge. It's so big that it can feel overwhelming. Where do you even start? What do you do today? When your goal feels like a giant mountain that you have to climb, it's easy to feel paralyzed. You don't know what the first step is, so you don't take any step at all. This is a form of procrastination. We put things off not because we are lazy, but because we are scared or confused. We are afraid of failing, or we don't believe we can actually reach the top of the mountain. So we do nothing. A vague goal like learn English doesn't give your brain clear instructions. It's like telling a taxi driver, "Take me somewhere nice." The driver won't know where to go. You need to give a specific address. In the same way, you need to give your brain a specific, clear, and small instruction. A lack of a clear plan is a recipe for failure. If you wake up in the morning and haven't decided what specific action you will take for your English practice that day, what do you think will happen? You'll probably check your email, then social media, then suddenly it's lunchtime and you haven't done anything. The day just sort of happens to you. A disciplined person, however, has a plan. They decided the night before, tomorrow at 9 a.m., I will spend 20 minutes reviewing my flashcards and listening to one chapter of my audiobook. That is a clear instruction. The brain knows exactly what to do, when to do it, and where to do it. There is no confusion. There is no decision to be made in the moment. The decision has already been made. This removes a huge amount of resistance and makes it much easier to take action. So, to summarize, discipline is hard, Because our brains love instant pleasure, our world is full of distractions, and our goals are often too big, and our plans are too unclear. But don't worry. Now that we understand the problems, we can start to talk about the solutions. So, how do we start building this muscle of discipline? The first and most important rule is to start incredibly small. I cannot emphasize this enough. Most people do the exact opposite. They try to change everything at once. They say, starting tomorrow, I will wake up at 5 a.m., run for an hour, meditate for 30 minutes, study English for 2 hours, and eat only healthy food. This is a recipe for disaster. It's too much, too soon. You might be able to do it for a day or two, but your willpower will quickly run out, and you will crash. Then you will feel like a failure, and you will go back to your old habits. The correct approach is to start so small that it feels almost ridiculous. You want to make your new habit so easy that you cannot say no. Let's go back to our goal of learning English. Instead of saying, I will study for an hour every day, what if you said, I will open my English textbook and read one sentence every day? Can you do that? Of course you can. It takes about 10 seconds. It's so easy, it's almost impossible not to do it. Or maybe your goal is to start writing a journal in English. Instead of trying to write a full page, your goal could be, I will write one single word in my journal every day. Just one word. This might sound silly. You might think, how will I ever learn English by reading one sentence or writing one word a day? But you are missing the point. In the beginning, the goal is not to make huge progress. The goal is to build the habit of showing up. You are not trying to become fluent in a week. You are trying to become the type of person who studies English every day, even if it's just for a moment. You are building a new identity. Once you have established the habit of opening your book every day, it becomes much easier to read 2 sentences, then a paragraph, then a page. But the first step is just to show up. This is a concept often called micro-habits, small actions that you repeat consistently. Think of it like building a chain. Every day you do your tiny habit, you add another link to the chain. After a few weeks, you have a long, strong chain, and you won't want to break it. Let me tell you a story about a man who wanted to start exercising. He was very overweight and hadn't exercised in years. The idea of going to the gym for an hour was terrifying and overwhelming for him. So he decided to start small. His goal for the first month was this. Every day, he would drive to the gym, park his car, walk to the front door, and then turn around and drive home. That was it. He didn't even go inside. His friends thought he was crazy, but he did it every single day for a month. He was building the habit of going to the gym. He was making it a normal part of his routine. In the second month, he decided to go inside and just walk on the treadmill for 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. It was easy. He couldn't say no. Soon, 5 minutes became 10 minutes. 10 minutes became 20. A year later, he was a regular at the gym. He had lost a lot of weight, and he felt healthier and happier than ever. His journey didn't start with a heroic 1-hour workout. It started with the tiny, almost laughable habit of just driving to the parking lot. So I want you to take a moment and think right now. What is a goal you have? It could be related to English, or health, or work. Now, what is the smallest possible first step you could take? What is the 2-minute version of that goal? Make it so easy that your brain doesn't have any reason to resist. If your goal is to learn 10 new vocabulary words a day, maybe your tiny habit is to learn just one. If your goal is to listen to this podcast, maybe your first step is just to press the play button. That's it. Start there. The consistency is more important than the intensity. Remember Sarah and her piano practice. 15 minutes every day is much, much more powerful than 3 hours once a month. Start small and be consistent. The second building block of discipline is to create a very clear plan and a schedule. Discipline thrives on clarity and routine. As we discussed before, vague goals lead to no action. You need to tell your brain exactly what to do and when to do it. There is a simple formula for this, which researchers call an implementation intention. It sounds complicated, but it's very easy. The formula is, I will behavior at time in location. For example, instead of saying, I will practice my English listening, you make it specific. I will listen to one episode of the English in Fluency podcast at 8 a.m. in my kitchen while I am having my breakfast. Can you see how much more powerful that is? You have given your brain a clear order. At 8 a.m., when you are in your kitchen, you won't have to decide what to do. The decision is already made. This reduces the friction, the mental effort required to start. You just follow the plan. Let's take another example. Goal: I want to improve my English vocabulary. Vague plan: I will study new words. A much better specific plan: I will review my vocabulary flashcards for 10 minutes at 7 p.m. at my desk in the study. This simple act of deciding in advance when and where you will perform a habit can dramatically increase the chances that you will actually do it. You are taking the guesswork out of the equation. A very powerful technique you can use with scheduling is called habit stacking. This means you connect your new desired habit to a habit that you already do every day without thinking. We all have dozens of these existing habits. Waking up, brushing our teeth, making coffee, getting dressed, eating dinner. These are strong connections in our brains. You can use these existing habits as a trigger for your new habit. The formula for habit stacking is, after I current habit, I will new habit. For example, after I brush my teeth in the morning, I will write one sentence in my English journal. Brushing your teeth is the trigger. You don't have to remember to write in your journal. The act of brushing your teeth will remind you. Here are some more examples for learning English. After I pour my morning cup of coffee, I will read one page of my English book. After I get home from work and take off my shoes, I will practice my pronunciation for 5 minutes. Before I check my social media in the evening, I will learn 3 new vocabulary words. You are linking the new, difficult behavior to an old, automatic one. This makes it much more likely to stick. Think about your daily routine. What are the things you do every single day without fail? Can you connect a small English learning habit to one of them? Let's take a moment to practice this. Think of your tiny habit from the previous step. For example, read one sentence in my English book. Now, think of something you already do every day. For example, I sit down on the train to go to work. Now combine them using the habit stacking formula. After I sit down on the train to go to work, I will read one sentence in my English book. Creating this clear, specific plan is like drawing a map for your brain. It shows you exactly where to go, so you don't get lost along the way. The third, and perhaps one of the most practical, steps to building discipline is to design your environment for success. We often think that disciplined people have more willpower or self-control than the rest of us. But a lot of the time, they are not using more willpower. They are just better at designing their environment so that they don't need to use as much willpower. They make good habits easy and convenient, and they make bad habits difficult and inconvenient. Let me explain. Willpower is a limited resource. It's like a battery. It's full in the morning, but as you go through your day making decisions and resisting temptations, your battery gets drained. By the evening, your willpower is low. That's why it's so much easier to skip a workout or eat junk food at night. So, instead of relying on your willpower, you should rely on your environment. You want to create a space where the desired action is the most obvious and easiest choice. Let's think about our English learning goal. How can you design your environment to make studying easier? You could leave your English textbook on your pillow, so you see it before you go to sleep. You could put your vocabulary flashcards next to your coffee machine, so you see them in the morning. You could change the language on your phone and your computer to English. This creates immersion. You could put a language learning app on the home screen of your phone and move all the distracting social media and game apps into a folder on the last page. This adds a little bit of friction to doing the wrong thing, and it removes friction from doing the right thing. When you pick up your phone, the first thing you see is the learning app, not the entertainment app. This small change can make a huge difference over time. Now, let's think about the other side of the coin, making bad habits harder. The main idea here is to increase the number of steps between you and the bad habit. If you want to watch less television, you could unplug the TV after you finish watching it. The next time you want to watch it, you have to go and plug it back in. That small bit of effort might be enough to make you stop and think, "Do I really want to watch this?" You could even put the remote control in a different room. If you eat too many cookies, the solution is simple. Stop buying them. Don't keep them in the house. If you want to buy cookies, you have to get dressed, leave the house, go to the store, and buy them. You have increased the friction. It's much harder to eat a cookie that isn't there. Let's apply this to distractions when studying. When it's time to study English, turn off your phone and put it in another room. Don't just put it face down on the desk next to you. That's not enough. The temptation is still there. If it's in another room, you have to physically get up and walk to get it. This interruption gives your thinking brain a chance to say, "Wait, I'm supposed to be studying." You are designing your environment to support your goals, not to sabotage them. I want you to look around the room you are in right now. Think about your goal. What is one small change you could make to your environment right now to make your good habit easier? And what is one small change you could make to make a bad habit harder? Maybe you could put a bottle of water on your desk to remind you to drink more. Maybe you could close the extra tabs on your internet browser to reduce distraction. You have more control over your behavior than you think. You just need to become the architect of your own environment. The fourth building block of discipline is learning to understand and manage your feelings. A common mistake is to think that disciplined people don't feel lazy, bored, or unmotivated. This is not true. They feel all of those things, just like everyone else. The difference is that they have learned not to let their feelings control their actions. They have learned that feelings are just suggestions, not commands. You can feel tired and still go for a walk. You can feel bored and still practice your vocabulary. Discipline is the skill of separating your feelings from your actions. You acknowledge the feeling, you say, "Hello, boredom, I see you," and then you do the thing you plan to do anyway. This is a very advanced skill, and it takes practice. But there are some simple tricks you can use to help you. One is the 2-minute rule. It was made popular by the author David Allen. The rule is simple. If a task takes less than 2 minutes to complete, do it immediately. Don't put it on a list. Don't think about it. Just do it. Wash that one dish. Send that quick email. Put your shoes away. This rule helps you stop procrastinating on the small things, which builds momentum and gives you a feeling of accomplishment. It trains your brain to be a doer instead of a thinker. For bigger tasks that you are avoiding, you can use the 5-minute rule. This is one of my favorite techniques. When you really don't feel like doing something, like studying for an English exam or cleaning your apartment, make a deal with yourself. You only have to do it for 5 minutes. Anyone can do anything for just 5 minutes. So you set a timer for 5 minutes, and you start. Here is the magic part. Very often, the hardest part of any task is just getting started. Once you begin and overcome that initial resistance, you often find that it's not as bad as you imagined. You get into a flow, and when the 5-minute timer goes off, you might find that you actually want to continue. And if you don't, that's fine too. You can stop. You still did 5 minutes more than you would have done otherwise. You kept the promise to yourself. This technique is incredibly effective for overcoming procrastination. The goal is not to finish the entire task. The goal is just to start. Let me give you an example from my own life. Sometimes I need to write a script like this one, and it feels like a huge project. The blank page is scary. So I tell myself, just write for 5 minutes. I open the document, set a timer, and start typing anything that comes into my head. After 5 minutes, I usually have a few sentences or a few ideas, and the fear of the blank page is gone. I've started, and continuing is now much easier. So, think about a task that you have been putting off. Maybe it's making an important phone call or starting an assignment. Could you try the 5-minute rule with it? Could you promise yourself just 5 minutes of work on it today? This little trick helps you manage your feelings of resistance and builds the habit of taking action even when you don't feel like it. The 5th key to building lasting discipline is to track your progress and celebrate your small wins. Our brains are motivated by evidence that we are moving forward. When we can see the progress we are making, we are more likely to continue. This is why tracking your habits is so powerful. It provides immediate feedback and makes your efforts visible. The method you use doesn't need to be complicated. The simplest way is to get a calendar and a pen. Every day that you complete your habit, no matter how small, you put a big X on that day. For example, every day you practice English for 10 minutes, you mark an X. After a few days, you will start to see a chain of X's. Your only job then is to not break the chain. This simple visual cue can be incredibly motivating. You won't want to see an empty square on your calendar. Other methods include using a simple notebook or a habit tracking app on your phone. The tool doesn't matter as much as the act of tracking itself. The key is to make it simple and satisfying. The act of making that check mark or X feels good. It's a small reward in itself. In addition to tracking, it's vital to celebrate your small victories. Remember, we are trying to build a positive relationship with our new habits. We want our brains to associate the habit with a good feeling. So when you complete your habit for the day, take a moment to acknowledge it. Give yourself some credit. You can do this by simply saying something positive to yourself, like, "Good job. I did it." It might feel a little strange at first, but this kind of positive self-talk is very effective. You are acting as your own coach, your own cheerleader. You can also give yourself a small, immediate reward. The important thing is that the reward should reinforce the habit, not contradict it. For example, if your habit is to exercise, a good reward might be a relaxing bath, or listening to your favorite music afterwards. A bad reward would be eating a large, unhealthy pizza, because that works against your overall health goal. For our English learning goal, after you finish your 15 minutes of study, your reward could be watching a short, fun video in English, or listening to a song by an English-speaking artist. The reward happens right after the habit, strengthening the connection in your brain. So, decide how you will track your habit. Will you use a calendar, a notebook? And decide on your small reward. What is a small, healthy pleasure you can give yourself right after you complete your daily practice? This combination of tracking and rewarding is a powerful engine for building habits that last. And this brings us to the sixth and final building block of discipline, which might be the most important one of all: forgiveness and the art of getting back on track. I am going to tell you a secret. You are going to fail. You will miss a day. You will have a moment of weakness. You will eat the cake. You will skip the workout. You will forget to study. This is guaranteed to happen because you are human. You are not a robot. The goal is not perfection. A truly disciplined person is not someone who never fails. A truly disciplined person is someone who gets back up quickly after they fail. The biggest danger is not messing up once. The biggest danger is letting one mistake turn into a downward spiral. Many people have an all-or-nothing mindset. They think, "I've broken my streak of studying every day. I've failed. I might as well give up now and start again next month." This is the worst thing you can do. It's like getting a single flat tire on your car and deciding to slash the other 3 tires as well. It makes no sense. The most important rule for building discipline is this: never miss twice. It's okay to miss one day. Life happens. You might get sick, or have an emergency, or just be completely exhausted. That's fine. But you must make a promise to yourself that you will not miss 2 days in a row. The day after you miss, you must get back on track, even if your effort is tiny. Even if you can only manage to read 1 sentence in English. You must do something to maintain the momentum and reinforce your identity as someone who studies English. This is where self-compassion, or being kind to yourself, is so important. When you miss a day, don't beat yourself up. Don't call yourself lazy or a failure. That negative self-talk only makes you feel worse and makes it harder to start again. Instead, treat yourself like you would treat a good friend who made a mistake. You would be encouraging, wouldn't you? You would say, "Hey, it's okay. It happens to everyone. You had a tough day. Just try again tomorrow. You can do it." You need to learn to have that same conversation with yourself. Acknowledge the mistake without judgment. "Okay, I didn't study today. I'm human. I will make sure to do my 10 minutes of practice tomorrow morning. That's it. No drama, no guilt. Just a simple plan to get back on course. Breaking a habit once is an accident. Breaking it a second time is the beginning of a new, negative habit. So the focus is always on the next action. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. The only thing that matters is what you do today. So let's practice this. Think about a time you tried to build a habit and then stopped. What was the reason you stopped? Was it because you missed one day and then just gave up? Let's reframe that. The next time that happens, I want you to tell yourself, one day off is part of the plan. The real plan starts now, with getting back on track tomorrow. Never miss twice. That is the true heart of discipline. Now, let's put everything we've talked about together and apply it specifically to our goal of learning English. We want to take these abstract ideas and make them very real and practical for you. Let's walk through the 6 steps one more time, but this time, every example will be about becoming fluent in English. First, we start incredibly small. Your goal is not become fluent. Your goal for today is learn one new vocabulary word. That's it. Or maybe it's say good morning in English to myself in the mirror. Or listen to the first minute of this podcast. Choose something so ridiculously easy that you simply cannot fail. Remember, we are building the habit of showing up first. The progress will come later. Second, we create a clear plan and schedule. We use our formulas. Let's try one. I will learn my one new vocabulary word at 7:30 p.m. in the living room after I finish dinner. Or, using habit stacking, after I turn on my computer at work, I will read one news headline in English. You're giving your brain a specific command. There's no room for confusion or procrastination. You have a clear, actionable plan for your day. Third, we design our environment for success. To make English learning easier, you could place an English novel on your bedside table. You could stick a Post-it note with a new English phrase on your bathroom mirror. You can follow channels like English in Fluency on your social media so that learning content appears naturally in your feed. To make distractions harder, you can use an app to block distracting websites on your computer for 1 hour a day, and you can designate that hour as your English Focus Hour. You can create a special playlist of English learning podcasts and have it ready to go, so you don't get lost browsing for something to listen to. You are making the path to learning smooth and clear, and putting obstacles on the path to distraction. Fourth, we learn to manage our feelings. You get home from a long day at work, and you feel exhausted. The last thing you want to do is study grammar. You acknowledge the feeling, I feel really tired. Then you apply the 5-minute rule. I will just open my grammar book and review one rule for 5 minutes. You set your timer. You start. Maybe after 5 minutes, you stop. That's a win. You did it. Or maybe you find a little bit of energy and continue for 15 minutes. That's an even bigger win. You are teaching yourself that your actions are in your control, not your feelings. Fifth, we track our progress and celebrate. You get a calendar, and for every day you complete your tiny English habit, you draw a big, satisfying star. You are creating a visual record of your effort. You want to see that chain of stars grow longer and longer. And when you complete your task, you give yourself a small reward. After you finish your 5 minutes of grammar practice, You reward yourself by listening to your favorite English song. You are linking the effort of studying with the pleasure of music. Your brain starts to think, hey, this English practice thing leads to something nice. This positive reinforcement is incredibly powerful for making habits stick. And finally, sixth, we practice forgiveness, and we never miss twice. You had a really busy week, and you realize you missed your English practice on Wednesday. Your old self might have said, I've failed. I'm no good at this. Your new, disciplined self says, it's okay. Wednesday was a very busy day. I will absolutely make sure to do my practice today, Thursday. I will not miss 2 days in a row. You get right back on track. It doesn't matter that you broke the chain of stars. What matters is that you start a new chain today. This resilient mindset is the key to long-term success. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. By applying these 6 steps, you are not just hoping to learn English. You are building a system, a machine, that will carry you toward your goal of fluency, day by day, step by step. Discipline is a journey, not a destination. It's a skill that you practice every day. Some days will be easy, and you will feel proud of yourself. Other days will be hard. You will struggle. You will feel lazy, and you might even fail. And that is completely okay. The goal is not to have a perfect record. The goal is simply to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. It's about making a promise to your future self, and then showing up today to keep that promise. The person you want to be in the future, the person who is confident, who is healthy, who can speak English fluently, is built by the small, seemingly insignificant choices you make every single day. The choice to read one page, the choice to learn one word, the choice to practice for 5 minutes when you are tired. These choices are like single bricks. One brick doesn't look like much, but if you lay one brick perfectly every single day, day after day, eventually you will build a magnificent castle. Your fluency in English is that castle. And your daily disciplined practice is the act of laying one more brick. So please, do not be afraid of the word discipline. See it for what it is: your friend, your guide, your tool for building the life you truly want to live. It is the bridge between your dreams and your reality. Thank you so much for listening and for spending this time with me today. I hope you found this discussion helpful, and I hope it gives you the confidence to start building your own discipline muscle. Remember, start small, be consistent, and be kind to yourself along the way. Your journey begins right now with one small action. And I have a challenge for you. I want you to make a commitment right now. In the comments section below this video, I want you to write down the one tiny specific habit that you are going to start today to improve your English. Use the formulas we talked about. For example, you could write, after I brush my teeth tonight, I will learn one new English word. Or, at 8 a.m. tomorrow, I will listen to 5 minutes of an English podcast. By writing it down, you are making it real. You are making a promise to yourself and to our community. I'm Alex, and I will read every single comment because I want to support you on your journey. Let's encourage each other. If you found this podcast useful for your English listening practice, please consider subscribing to the English in Fluency channel. We have many more lessons and practice sessions planned to help you reach your goals. Thank you again for being here. Keep practicing, stay disciplined, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye for now.